Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Marketing Mapped Out. I am so excited that you're here. I am so grateful that you are here. We're starting it. 12 weeks, kicking off right now. The road map to freedom and fulfillment in our marketing, to the systems and the strategies, to the understanding, to the absolute confidence and belief in ourselves, in our marketing, in our business, being able to go out there, share the news with our people, feel good about it, feel confident and capable in everything that we're doing with our marketing. I am so thrilled that you're here. I'm so excited to be on this journey with you, and welcome. My name is Alex Toombs. I own Toombs Creative. I created Marketing Mapped Out, and I'm so excited to share this journey with you, to really lay it out, to make it easier, to allow you to have like a little bit more fun with the process, to understand it a little bit better, to be able to play around and also see those results. We are business owners. We are small business owners. We're kind of running this ship ourselves. We're running our marketing. We are the CEOs. We are the CFOs. We are the customer service representatives. We're the graphic designers, we're the creators, and we're also the doers for everything, for our products and our services. We're out there. This is our business. This is what we do. And I'm really, really pleased to be here to help you along the journey, to make it a little bit easier and a little bit more enjoyable. So I just kind of want to kick things off with a little bit of an intro video, talk kind of like high level what we're going to be doing over the next 12 weeks. And I wanted to start off just telling you a little bit more about who I am and how we are here together. So a little bit of background is I created my first logo. I had my first client when I was around 15 or 16. Very, very fortunate to grow up in New Jersey, go to a high school that invested in their students and invested in technologies. So I actually had access to Adobe Photoshop and Illustrator at quite a young age and was able to play and have some fun with it. And I'm kind of a go-getter. I like to try stuff. I like to do things. And if I believe in it, I'm going all in. So, during lunch, during high school, I'd be on Craigslist. I'd be online looking for projects, looking for clients. And I nailed my first one. I made a logo for a bongo company for $50. And that's kind of like what set me off on this marketing journey. After that, I graduated high school and I went to Johnson & Wales University in Providence, Rhode Island, to learn more about graphic design. So I went there pursuing my career in graphic design and a degree. And I decided that that wasn't really my thing. I didn't love it as much as I thought I would. I like playing around. I like designing, but the course itself, it just wasn't for me. So I kind of made a pivot. I got my grades up. I transferred out of Johnson & Wales and into Quinnipiac University, which is located in Connecticut. And I completed my undergrad, getting my degree in public relations with a minor in psychology, which is fascinating and fabulous for what I'm doing today, which is working with people, marketing, sales, public relations, business, understanding what goes on up here so that we can create and serve the world at large. I've always kind of been the tactical person, the person that wants to hit the ground running. Wasn't so much of a desk kind of gal. I went to college, I did the classes, I did the work, but I wanted to get out there. I wanted to work, I wanted to meet people, and I wanted to experience life. So during my 3 years at Quinnipiac, I completed 6 internships because it was more important and more fulfilling for me to get out there, working with people, doing the things and learning that way than sitting in a classroom reading out of a textbook. And music was my passion. I absolutely loved it. I loved creating groups. I loved going to shows, gathering people to be at these concerts, promoting the shows, the whole atmosphere, the stage, the bands, the lights, the people, the party. I loved it all. And I wanted to be in it all the time. So as soon as that kind of light bulb moment went off, when I realized that I could make a career out of just my love for live music, things changed. I graduated Quinnipiac and headed straight into my first job at the Capitol Theater in Port Chester, New York, where I was handling marketing for a couple months, for about a year or so. And it was a good time. It was a great learning experience. It was kind of my first full-time job upon graduation, and a great experience to figure out what kind of environment I want to be working with and with which types of people. And overall, it's a for-profit venue. So it's kind of different, and my ethics and integrity had shifted a bit. and I wanted to be serving the world at large, the greatest good, which led me to the Fairfield Theater Company, which is a nonprofit performing arts center. So we still did similar concerts, all live music, performances, some films, events, speakers, that sort of thing, but community focused, community driven. I was working with the local community there as a membership based music venue, and kind of hit the ground running. We had one music venue when I first started there in 2015, and over my 6 or 7 years working at FTC, we expanded. We opened up another music venue. So I was running marketing for both spaces, selling concert tickets for all sorts of different events, different types of people, different types of experiences. In 2016, that's when things really shifted, and I got really crystal clear on how I wanted my life to look. I traveled around the South Island in a camper van, and I realized it's not about the grind. It's not about the concrete jungle, the commute, that office, just working. I grew up in New Jersey. I lived in Rhode Island briefly. I lived in Connecticut, and I was working in New York back and forth. And being in New Zealand, you don't get that. It's different. It's green. It's vast. People go surfing. People go mountain biking. They live in their vans for months at a time. And I love that. I thought that was so exciting and incredible. I'd never seen anything like that. So even before getting back on the plane to head back to New York, I knew things weren't going to be the same. They were going to be different. They were going to be what I wanted it to be. So during the next 3 years, that's when I kind of hit the ground running. I got organized with my desires and my vision, and I created Toombs Creative. And I was just doing full service marketing for anyone that would have me. I was taking on clients, and I was still in my full-time job because I was not prepared to take that leap. As an American, if you do not have your salary and if you do not have your benefits, that can be very, very scary because you don't have many options if something were to go wrong. So I was encouraged by many people for a few years to stick it out. And I did. And I was quite unhappy, but I did it anyway. And this is really the moment where Marketing Mapped Out came to be. I didn't know it at the time, but in hindsight, that was really the start because I was in this full-time job, wildly unfulfilled. It really was not good for my mental health, my well-being, but given the situation, I was there. So I was balancing marketing 2 music venues. I was marketing Toombs Creative, and I was marketing my clients' businesses. All very different offerings, very different clientele, and different goals and objectives. So to figure out the best way to handle all of these responsibilities, to do it with integrity, so fulfilling on what I promised, doing it well. I was committed to earning that salary, doing it well, committed to serving my clients, doing it well, and committed to myself to growing my business and creating the life of my dreams. I had to figure it out. I had to put it all into place and figure out the systems and strategies to manage it without burning out, without wanting to give up and all that. I hired on a business coach to support me in my launch of that new phase of life, which was fabulous. Having that support from day one has been pivotal. I've been investing in coaches and mentors ever since. There was a period of about 9 months where I went without support, and I realized it's better with the support. It's really nice to have a community, have a sounding board, have people to collaborate with and to talk to about whatever's going on in life and business and marketing. Since that 2016 New Zealand trip, kind of figuring out the way to relocate. I was in Connecticut, kind of unfulfilled, very unfulfilled in my job, trying to figure it all out, and was actually planning on moving to New Zealand. So I went through the visa process, which happened to be quite complicated. And after a short stint up on Vancouver Island for another camper van trip, I realized this was the place. This is where I wanted to be. The mountains, the mountain biking, the hiking, the culture, the experience. I love it. So I was going through the visa process for Canada because as an American, you're going to need those visas. And I discovered the University of Victoria and their master's program, their master's business program with a focus on sustainable innovation. So I applied to that. I got in, and kind of the rest is history. As COVID was kicking off, Sam and I converted our camper van. We sold all our things. We moved out of our house onto the road and traveled for a few months between making that decision that we were going to hit the road, and then between the visas coming through, and then spent the last year just kind of figuring it out, living in kind of unconventional ways, Airbnbs, sailboats, vans, and figuring it out, growing my business, scaling my business, managing it all while being in these really uncomfy places of uncertainty. I didn't know when the visas were going to come in. I was traveling in a camper van in the mountains. I didn't have internet. I had no Wi-Fi. I was charging my laptop off of solar. If it was a rainy day, I didn't have a laptop. So strategies and systems were really, really important because I couldn't do what I was doing. I would have either had to be tethered to, a Starbucks, or I could be in the mountains living my life and building my business. That's the one that I chose. And here we are today. Developed Marketing Mapped Out from all of these years of experience of getting out there, trying new things, putting myself in uncomfortable situations, but deep down in my soul, knowing that this is what I want, this is my purpose. So figuring out all the ways to be able to manage that, the expectation of what I set out for myself, and to be able to fulfill responsibilities. This is kind of how it all shaped out. So that long-winded story is all just to show you that it is possible. All right, it's possible to manage your marketing from the road. It's possible to take a long weekend or a week off, or go to Europe for 2 months, and you don't have to uproot your whole life and your workflows and your lifestyle. You can simply create that function within your business now so that you have the freedom and flexibility to do what you want and when you want it. So that's going off grid. You can be offline, you can be in the mountains, or you can simply just, turn off the devices and have a break. Whatever you need to do. We're getting these systems up and running. We're going to be generating leads while we sleep because things are operating. We're utilizing technology to optimize our life. We're not, seeking out expensive, complicated services and technologies that make everything more difficult. We're using cheap and free resources that simply simplify, streamline, so that we can therefore enjoy the journey, taking the path of least resistance. So we're on this journey, 12 weeks ahead. We hit the ground running now. Welcome, very exciting. So here's a bit of an overview of everything that's going to be going on over the next 12 weeks. So a little bit of the breakdown is we're going to have our Zoom calls. Once a week, we're going to be on a 60-minute Zoom call where we're going to be diving in, getting specific, going over the back end of your stuff, asking questions about what's coming up in your business, troubleshooting, workshopping. We're going to be there together to collaborate, to learn, and to share insights and information with one another. You're going to have your video modules, which are going to be accessed right here in Kajabi. So the videos are going to come through. You're going to watch them at your own pace. Anytime you want, whatever works with your schedule. I just ask that you please watch them before the upcoming Zoom call so that we're prepared. So we're all on topic. We're all kind of, in the same place with what we're working on in our businesses. And then put aside 50% of this for implementation because we're going to be testing. We're going to be trying things out. After each of our video lessons, there's going to be some sort of action item. And this can be creating your content calendar. This can be creating your business cards, your brand kit, identifying your ideal customer, whatever it is. It could also just be a meditation, a journal entry. It could be watching a TED Talk. It's going to vary. So I estimate putting aside 3 hours per week, 1 hour for the Zoom calls, 1 hour for whatever videos, 30 minutes to an hour for the videos, really, and then about an hour for implementation. Now, of course, if you have more time to spend, please do. Marketing is never ending. It's always evolving. It's always shifting. It's very, very fluid because we're working with humans and human beings, and they are very fluid. So we are flexible and we're here and we're just kind of trying things out. We're following the map, but we're testing. We're having fun. We're getting creative. Be sure to add all the calls to your calendar so that you don't miss those. Because again, that's really where we're going to be digging into the content specific for you, specific for your business. Keep an eye on your email and the Facebook group for video releases, updates, new content, new resources. As questions come up and we go through these workshop sessions, more questions will arise that might not be answered in the video. So I'm going to be pumping in new content as we go through it. And also be prepared. Be prepared to do the work. I'm not doing this for you. This is no cookie cutter stuff. This is the framework, the roadmap, and we got to do the work because we're going to be experimenting. We're going to be testing things out. It's a creative process. Marketing is not black and white. It is a mixture. It's very, very fluid. So be prepared. Some days it's going to be super, super easy. And some days you might have a little bit more of a challenge with it, but just be willing and able to do that. So it's kind of broken down into 3 different segments over the next 12 weeks. So the first block, we're really focused on positioning, branding, and websites, which leads us into block number 2, which is all about social media and email marketing. So a lot of what we're doing in block 1, it compounds to block 2. So we're creating the foundations, we're developing those communications, those strategies, and then they come into social media and email marketing. So we're distributing those communication strategies. We're getting the information out there. Third phase is the print materials, the workflows, and the data. So really everything is building on one another. This is the roadmap. This is what I've learned, and this is the order in which it can be done. There are going to be moments where you might want to stray from this process. Please don't. I've done this many, many times for many, many different businesses, and this works. Of course, you can jump ahead. You can absolutely go try to build your business cards first, but you're going to be lacking the positioning, your branding, your communications. So this is really strategic and intentional in the way that I've laid out the program. Now, for each of those blocks, we have 3 phases. The first, we're going to analyze. We're going to kind of just throw everything on the table. We're going to look at it. We're identifying our goals, where we want to be, and then we're going to develop our strategy. So what is the plan? So here we are. Here's where we want to be. We fill in this gap. And then we implement. So everything that we learn, we put into practice right away. Because when it's in practice, we can test it out, we can see what works, and then we can adapt. We can improve upon it. Some things might not work for you, and you're going to have to learn that through experience. There's so many different tools that come out every day with social media and the algorithm and, all these things that we don't have much control over. So it's important for us to just kind of focus on our specific goals, develop a unique strategy, and then, be fluid in that implementation and that testing period. So in a bit more detail, for phase 1, it's positioning, branding, and websites. At the end of this, you are going to have absolute clarity and confidence in your business and your brand. You're going to be aware of what you've been doing that has worked, that hasn't worked, the things you want to try out, the things that you want to try out now, the things you want to try out later. We're going to set priorities. Okay. So we're really going to understand what our communications are and our positioning and our branding. We're going to be creating custom and professional brand kits. So I'm going to guide you in that process for landing on your colors, on your core values, your mission and vision statements, everything that you need from like the depths, like your why, your purpose for having your business, because we want to be able to articulate that because people buy from people. So they want to know your story. They want to know why you do what you do. We also have our websites. So if you have a website, we're going to dive into that. We're going to see what improvements we can make, whether it's the pages, the copy, the call to action, the user experience, the designs. We're really going to look into that and see how we can improve so that we are generating leads and converting our audience into actual paying customers. If you do not have a website yet, we are going to land on which website provider you are going to roll with, and we're going to buy your domain, and we're going to start building out those pages and the copywriting. Because all of that copywriting is going to funnel into our social media and email marketing communications. So here we're talking high-level strategy. Who do we want to be reaching? How do we reach them? What do we need to be communicating? What action do we need our customer to make to be able to fulfill our goal? That is all coming with our communications plan. I'm going to teach you how to content batch so you can most efficiently and most effectively communicate with your audience in a timely manner, and you are not tethered to your Wi-Fi, tethered to your devices. You can do all this stuff in one sitting, set yourself up for a very clear month, knowing exactly what's going to be published, how it's going to be perceived, and then you can simply just jump in and engage. You can serve your audience. You can connect with the people that want to hear from you one-on-one. They want to see your face. They want to learn more about you. And then we're also going to be working on scheduling. So when this stuff is going live and how it is going live. So again, we're not just sitting on our phone every day, twiddling our thumbs on Instagram, scrolling for hours on end. Our content is already created, it is scheduled in, and it is publishing without us having to lift a finger. And we are just there as support in addition to that. Phase 3 is our print materials, our workflow, and our data. So here we're going to be creating our business cards and any other print materials that we might seem necessary. That could be flyers, posters, banners, depends on what your business is. If you have a brick and mortar, we're going to be working on a lot of design stuff, checklists, and workflows. So for social media, what do we need to do each day, each week, each month? Same with email marketing, data analysis, all that. And I will be teaching you data analysis, where to find the information, what it all means, and how to make decisions based upon that information. So here, efficiency is doing things right, and effectiveness is doing the right things. So we're going to be efficient. We're going to do things correctly the first time. We're not going to have typos. We're not going to make things all messy. We're going to have them clean and clear and precise. And however, that might be messy the first time around, we improve, but we're going to be doing them correctly. And I'm going to guide you making those decisions for how to do them well and to do them right. Now, effectiveness is doing the right things. So that's prioritizing. There's a lot of shiny objects, we go out there, we see what other people are doing, our competitors, our peers in the industry, they're doing one thing. Oh yes, we must do that too. That's not true. It all depends on you, on your personal goals, your bandwidth, your customers, the experience that they want, and where they are. If your customers aren't on TikTok, don't be on TikTok. If your customers are all over YouTube, you're going to want to be on YouTube. So we'll identify that all in the beginning, but stay focused. Stay focused on your stuff, on who you are, on who you serve, and what that experience is. Don't get distracted. There's a lot of stuff out there to distract us, but we're going to stay focused. So here's just a couple tips for success. Show up, show up to the Zoom calls, show up to the Facebook group. We're going to be on Zoom 1 hour per week. And that's where you're going to get so much value, because we're going to dig into your stuff, your business, your specific questions. This is where we share and we collaborate and we ask questions and we support one another. The Facebook group is open 24/7. If it's 6 a.m. and you're on Instagram and you got a DM and you're not sure how to respond, let us know. We'll chime in and help you with that. If you're on Canva and you're exporting a document and you don't know if it should be a PNG, an EPS, or a JPEG, ask. I got you. We'll answer all this stuff. Communication. It's asking questions, but it's also asking for support. Entrepreneurship is, for most people, not an easy, balanced, calm ride. It's a roller coaster. We ride the waves. We can have awesome days, and some days we can get super low. And yeah, we're going to find that middle ground sometimes, but ask for support, because we're doing this stuff. We're typically doing it on our own. Having a community is so valuable. One of the reasons why I created Marketing Mapped Out is for the community. I've been in group coaching courses where I've made my best friends. I've had the best time communicating with them. And I've had these people that are my support system, because we're all here together. We're all doing the same thing. We're building our lives, we're building our businesses, and we're trying to have a good time while we do it. Ask for support if you're feeling low. And if you're feeling high, when you get a win, when you get a new client, when you achieve something, when you are stuck on your SEO and you overcame that, let us know. We want to celebrate. It's all good. We want to be there for one another. Mindset is so important. Again, those highs and those lows, we kind of want to keep it in the middle. So focusing on our why, on our reason for being, staying level-headed, also allowing ourselves to feel those feelings when it does get tricky and it does get challenging. It's all good. We're here together. We're all on this journey, all on this path. It's collaboration over competition. No one's better than you. You're not better than anyone else. We're doing this stuff together. This is a safe space. You can be honest. You can be vulnerable. You can be transparent. No one is here to judge. No one is here to take ideas. No one is here to criticize. We are all growing. We're all learning, and we're all doing this for the betterment of our lives and the world around us. And trust. Trust that this works. Trust that I've done this before. Trust that this is the map, and I created Marketing Mapped Out because I've done this and I know the order in which it should be achieved for the most efficient and effective results. You can jump around. It is your life. You can do whatever you want. However, if you want to be doing this along the path of least resistance, follow the map, do it in the correct order that I suggest, and just be open-minded to the ideas of what we're working on. Be open-minded to not know everything, and sometimes you don't know what you don't know, which also brings us back to communication. If you don't know what you don't know, ask. Be there. I got you. I got questions. And also, I might not also have every single answer. There is YouTube University, there's the beauty of Google, there's always resources. So ask your questions. If I don't have it, someone else will. If we don't have it, we'll find the answer for you, with you, alongside you. And at the end of the day, have a damn good time. Have some fun. This is fun, right? Business is fun. If we wanted to be bored and miserable, we'd be sitting at a desk in a cubicle and we'd be bored and miserable. But instead, we are out here building the lives of our dreams, having a great time, connecting with like-minded entrepreneurs, building the systems and strategies that bring us in profitability, they bring in our income, and they fill our souls. This is fun. This is all good. We're here for a good time. We're here to make it easy, enjoyable, and, there is the bottom line. It's going to be profitable. Have fun. So I am so excited to hit the ground running with you. 12 weeks from today, where do you want to be? How do you want to feel? What do you want your day to look like? We're going to dive more into goal setting and all that. But for right now, settle in, get excited, hop into the Facebook group, introduce yourself. And if you have any questions at all, drop them in the Facebook group. I am so grateful to have you here. I'm so excited to be on this path together. And let's do this. All right. Let's hit the ground running. We got this. All right.